Hey guys, Rudy here at Ridgeline. We're here today talking about gun setup, specifically length of pull and the importance of it regarding precision rifles. So gun setup is one of these things that is hugely important when we're talking about shooting precision rifle. If you want to get the most out of your system, you need to have a gun that actually fits you well. Otherwise, you're just going to be fighting against the system. Dollar for dollar, it's probably one of the most important things that you can do to actually increase your accuracy and precision. So length of pull, what do we mean by that? Essentially what we're talking about is the measurement from the end of the buttstock to where your trigger finger rests 90 degrees perpendicular across the trigger. Why is this important? This is important because an improperly fit rifle is going to start to have a series of cascading effects regarding the fundamentals of marksmanship. Two big fundamentals that's really going to affect. First one is going to be your body position. So a rifle that has too long or too short of a length of pull is going to prevent you from actually mounting that rifle in any sort of consistent manner. It's going to prevent you from having essentially a stable, durable, and sustainable position behind that gun. Second big fundamental marksmanship that we're looking at is trigger control. The length of pull that's too long or too short is going to prevent you from correctly engaging the trigger in a manner that allows you to press it straight into the rear. So how are we going to go about setting the length of pull? Well, first thing we got to do is actually clear out these rifles. Even though it's 2020 and everybody should know this, I just want to go over it real quick. So first thing we're going to attempt to do is place that weapon on safe. From there, we'll keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. We're going to remove that source of feed. I want you to conduct a 3-point safety check. Checking the chamber, face of the bolt, and the magazine well, making sure there's no brass or live ammunition in there. After that point, what we're going to do is what I like to call Rudy's rule of thumb. It's called the 90-90 rule. So what we're going to do is you're going to create a 90-degree angle with your elbow. You're going to place the butt stock right into that little notch. From there, your trigger finger should come across and rest pretty much 90 degrees right across the shoot of the trigger. So you can see this rifle has an appropriately set length of pull for me. So if you look at all my different guns that I have, pretty much every single one has the same length of pull, mainly because my body size is always going to be the same. Whether we're talking about a semi-auto or a bolt gun in a chassis or a bolt gun in a traditional stock, your length of pull is always going to remain the same. Now let's look at some issues that we can start seeing when we have too long of a length of pull. So in this case, I've extended out the buttstock in a manner that's going to create too long of a length of pull. And you can see when I come into that 90-degree rule, what we're trying to do, you can see that my trigger finger cannot properly engage the trigger in a manner that allows me to press it straight into the rear at a 90-degree angle. That means you got something that's too long. Conversely, let's bring it in to a really short length of pull, and I'll show you what sort of effects you're going to have there. When placed in that 90 degrees, as you can see, my trigger finger does not rest 90 degrees perpendicular. In fact, if you come around to this side, you can pretty much see that I have that trigger finger as deep as it can go into the trigger well there. There's no way that I could possibly shoulder this rifle in a manner that would allow me to press that trigger straight into the rear. So either one of these is what we want to avoid. So we talked about what length of pull should look like. Now let's talk about how we're going to fix it when it doesn't look like it should. Some rifles, like the AR-15 or the SR-25 platform, with a carbine buttstock, is going to be a really easy fix. For those of you who are running a fixed stock solution, it may be time to upgrade. Probably one of my favorite options is the Magpul PRS stock. So this is a really durable stock. It's a little bit heavier than some people kind of prefer, but I've been using this overseas for approximately the last 9 years. This is the first one I bought. It's still pretty solid. All right, so let's talk about bolt guns. Two main systems that you're going to see at play: traditional stock and the modern chassis system. I'm a huge fan of the modern chassis systems myself, mainly because of how easily adjustable they are to a shooter. I like the feel of traditional stocks, but if we're honest, most of them don't really lend themselves to being adjusted in the same way. When we start having length of pull issues, it's usually because we need to add material or take it away, which honestly is more of a gunsmithing project than an end user project. There are some other products out there on the cheaper spectrum of things that kind of add some additional length of pull. I would generally caution against those, mainly because they don't typically stay in place. And at the end of the day, most people end up throwing them away when they come to class. So I guess what I'm saying is be good to yourself. If you have a stock that doesn't fit you well and it's not adjustable, it may be time for an upgrade. All right, so there it is, guys, length of pull. Let's do a quick recap. The importance of this regarding the fundamentals of marksmanship with precision rifles cannot be overlooked. Each and every one of us has different body sizes and different shapes. You have to have a system that actually fits you. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting against the rifle to execute those fundamentals correctly. I hope this video kind of gives everybody a basic idea of what length of pull is, what to look for when you have to start adjusting it, and a couple different options for you to improve the system that you already have. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us either online or in person. We'll be more than happy to help get you set up and headed in the right direction.